Hi, my name is Rebecca Lee, and I co-wrote this book here with Andy Cutler, PhD, who should have got the Nobel Prize for what he figured out. And I'm recording this video from my place in Jamaica, so that's why it looks so different and so much sunnier and nicer. But anyway, this video is about alpha-lipoic acid. And by the way, if you hear pounding and thumping, it's because there's construction going on here. There's sort of a perpetual condition of construction. But anyway, this is about lipoic acid. Somebody posted in Facebook group just recently and asked this question: how come there are no warning labels on lipoic acid? He had apparently just become aware of what that compound actually does. The stuff is sold in every supermarket and drugstore in the States. It is an ingredient in lots of multivitamins, and doctors prescribe it all the time. Chris Hami, who writes scientific papers, wrote this about lipoic acid. Use of alpha-lipoic acid as a nutritional supplement without consideration of its metal chelating properties, its lipophilic nature, and its pharmacokinetics may yield neurotoxic redistribution of toxic metals. The lag time between the administration of the agent and the perception of toxicity may be great enough that this connection is overlooked by patient and clinician, end quote. So innocent people are taking this incredibly powerful stuff. And as Chris says, the lag time between the administration of the agent and the perception of toxicity is great enough that nobody puts two and two together. You have to use lipoic acid properly. You have to take it with its ability to chelate mercury in mind. It must be taken on its half-life, which is every 3 hours, or not at all. If you take it indiscriminately, you will drive mercury into your brain and other sensitive organs. Once, when the forces of evil were trying to do away with our exception for those, quote, things that must not be named, I was down in Montpelier, Vermont to support the forces of good. A bunch of various doctors were there too, bless their hearts. I sat down at their table and explained to them about alpha-lipoic acid and what it does. I was met with incredulity and disbelief. The doctors prescribed it all the time, and I imagine they are still doing so these many years later. Once I wrote a letter to Biotics Research about this. Some fancy chiropractor whose lectures they sponsor was telling people to take it. The first time I met Andy, he was lecturing for Biotics Research, and that same doctor was lecturing on the same day. Biotics Research is aware of Andy's work. They asked him to come and lecture. They replied to my email that the doctor in question tells people to take lipoic acid every 3 hours to chelate. But he was not talking about chelating in this instance. So what can I say to that? So often there is no chance of getting through. I'm not well known or important enough to change anybody's mind. I guess Andy wasn't either. So we go on warning people, and every now and then somebody has, quote, ears to hear. Don't take lipoic acid for anything other than chelation. Andy called the misuse of lipoic acid the, quote, alternative medicine community's contribution to the mercury holocaust. And he didn't use that word lightly. People are sick and crazy enough as it is these days, but this misuse of lipoic acid is making the whole thing worse. People keep on taking this powerful mercury chelator the wrong way. They keep making themselves worse. So that is why there is no warning label on lipoic acid, and it is sold everywhere indiscriminately and is an ingredient in all kinds of multis.